I worked at a hotel in Amsterdam for 3 years. An American couple checked in and asked where they could get dinner. I told them there was an excellent Indonesian place 2 blocks away. The husband said, "We're not really adventurous eaters." I said, "There's a burger restaurant next door." He looked offended. "You don't have to be rude about it." I was confused. "I wasn't rude. I gave you another option." His wife jumped in. "Your tone was very dismissive." I had no tone. I stated a fact. They wanted the manager. My manager, also Dutch, came over. They explained I was hostile. He listened, nodded, then said, "She answered your question. The burger place is next door." They stared at him like he'd slapped them. They canceled their reservation and left. We still don't know what we did wrong. My colleague from Finland told me this is normal. She once had an American guest ask if the breakfast was good. She said, "It's adequate." The guest complained she called it bad. She hadn't. Adequate means sufficient. But apparently, in America, anything less than amazing means terrible. Another time, a guest asked if I liked their jacket. I said, "It's not my style, but it suits you." They went pale. Later, they told reception I insulted them. I gave an honest answer. In the Netherlands, that's respect. Lying would be rude. The Dutch are direct because we value honesty and efficiency. Americans seem to value, I'm not sure, feelings? But they get upset when you're honest about feelings. It's very confusing. I work for a German tech company in Munich. We hired an American consultant for a project. Nice guy, very enthusiastic. He spent 3 weeks preparing a presentation for the executive team. The day came. He presented for 40 minutes. Lots of slides, lots of energy, lots of synergizing paradigm shifts. When he finished, he asked for feedback. Our CTO said, "This doesn't work. The data methodology is flawed and the conclusions don't follow from the analysis." The American's face went white. "What about the parts you liked?" The CTO looked confused. "I didn't like any of it. That's why I said it doesn't work." The American tried again. "But surely there were some good elements?" Our head of operations said, "The formatting was professional. Everything else needs to be redone." The American gathered his papers and left. He didn't come back for 2 days. When he returned, he went to HR. Said he was bullied in the meeting. The executives were shocked. They thought they were being helpful by identifying the problems clearly. "How else will he know what to fix?" our CTO asked. HR had to explain that Americans expect positive feedback before negative feedback, even when there's nothing positive to say. You're supposed to say your slides had nice colors before saying your entire approach is wrong. This seemed insane to everyone. Why waste time with fake compliments? The consultant eventually finished the project, but he looked terrified in every meeting. He'd present something and preface it with, "I know this probably isn't good, but..." We kept telling him to just show us the work so we could evaluate it. That made him more nervous. He thought we were angry. We weren't angry. We just wanted to see the work. His last day, he told me he'd never work with Germans again. Too harsh. I asked what was harsh. He said, "You told me my work was bad." I said, "It was bad. That's why we hired you to fix it. We wouldn't pay for bad work." He said that was the problem. We still don't understand. I'm a barista in Helsinki. American exchange students are always interesting. One came in last semester, very friendly, asked how I was doing. I said, "Tired. I slept badly." She looked uncomfortable. "Oh, I just meant like, hi." I said, "Yes, and I told you how I am. Tired." She laughed nervously. Right. She came back the next day. Asked how I was again. I said, "Fine." She seemed relieved. Then she said, "Your English is really good." I said, "It's acceptable." Her face fell. "Oh." She left quickly. The next week, she came with friends. They were loud, very enthusiastic about everything. This coffee is amazing. It was regular coffee. This pastry is incredible. It was a corvapusti, nothing special. Her friend said, "You must be so proud to work here." I said, "It's a job." Silence. Complete silence. One of them asked, "Do you enjoy making coffee?" I said, "It's fine. I'm studying architecture. This pays rent." She said, "That's so cool that you're passionate about architecture." I said, "I need a degree to get a better job." More silence. They stopped coming after that. I learned later from another exchange student that I crushed their souls with negativity. I wasn't negative. I was honest. They asked questions, I answered. In Finland, we don't perform happiness for strangers. If you're fine, you say you're fine. If you're tired, you say you're tired. Americans want everyone to pretend they're having the best day of their life. It's exhausting just watching them. I'm Dutch, married to a British woman. We live in Rotterdam. She invited her American colleague to dinner to be nice. Big mistake. The American, Sarah, arrived and complimented everything. "Your home is gorgeous. It's a normal flat. This smells incredible. I made stampot. It's peasant food. I love your shirt." It was a plain blue shirt. My wife said British people do this too, but less aggressively. At dinner, Sarah asked about my work. "I'm a civil engineer." I explained a project. She said, "Wow, you must be really smart." I said, "It's a standard engineering degree. Many people have them." She looked hurt. I wasn't insulting her. I was correcting an exaggeration. She asked my wife about her job. My wife works in marketing. "That must be so creative and fulfilling." My wife said, "It's fine. Pays the bills." Sarah's smile froze. She tried again. "But you must love coming up with campaigns." My wife said, "Not particularly. It's quite repetitive, actually." Sarah stopped asking questions. Then she complimented the meal. "This is the best meal I've had in Europe." I said, "That's unlikely. We have many excellent restaurants here." She stared at me. "I just meant I really enjoyed it." I said, "You said it was the best. That's a significant claim." My wife kicked me under the table. Sarah left early. Said she wasn't feeling well. Later, she told my wife I was cold and possibly autistic. I'm not autistic. I'm Dutch. We don't lie to make people feel good. If you say something is the best and it's not the best, I'll correct you. That's not cold. That's honest. My wife says I have to soften things for Americans. Add, "I think," or "maybe," or "just my opinion." But why? Why should I weaken my statements to protect feelings when I'm just stating facts? She says it's cultural. I say it's inefficient. I work at a hair salon in Tel Aviv. American tourists are always a journey. One came in last month wanting highlights. I looked at her hair, looked at her face structure, and said, "Highlights won't work with your face shape. You need lowlights and a different cut." She smiled tightly. "I think I'll stick with highlights." I said, "They'll make you look washed out." "Trust me, I've been doing this 12 years. She said, "I appreciate the feedback, but I'd like highlights." I said, "You're paying me for my expertise. My expertise says no highlights." She said, "It's my hair." I said, "Fine. Don't complain when you look bad." She got very quiet. Asked to use the bathroom. Came back and said she'd changed her mind about getting her hair done at all. Left. Wrote a 1-star review saying I was hostile and attacked her appearance. I didn't attack anything. I gave professional advice. That's literally my job. My colleague, who's from New York, said I should have said something like, "Highlights could work, but have you considered lowlights? They might complement your features better." That's so many words to say the same thing. Americans add cushioning to every sentence like they're packaging a fragile vase. In Israel, we're dugri. Straightforward. If something won't work, we say it won't work. Why dance around it? Time is money. If she'd listened, she would have looked great. Instead, she left with bad hair somewhere else, probably. Everyone loses. I'm a personal trainer in Berlin. American expats are my most difficult client. They want constant encouragement. Great job. You're doing amazing. I'm so proud of you. I'm not their parent. I'm their trainer. One client, Mike, was doing squats incorrectly. I said, "Your form is wrong. You'll injure your knees." He said, "Okay, what should I fix?" I said, "Everything. Start over. Watch me." He did. Still wrong. I said, "No. Like this. Demonstrate it again." He tried. Better, but not correct. I said, "Closer, but still not right." After the session, he asked to talk. Said he wasn't sure this was working out. I asked why. He said, "You're kind of negative." I said, "I'm correcting your form so you don't hurt yourself." He said, "But you never say anything positive." I said, "When you do something correctly, I won't correct you. That means it's positive." He looked at me like I'd spoken Arabic. He said his last trainer always told him he was making progress and doing great. I said, "Were you? Because your form suggests otherwise." He canceled his membership. My American colleague explained that Americans need verbal positive reinforcement constantly or they assume they're failing. In Germany, no news is good news. If your boss doesn't criticize you, you're doing fine. Americans need someone to pat their head every 5 minutes. "Good job. Yes, you did. Who's a good employee?" It's like training puppies. If I wanted to do that, I'd work at an animal shelter. I work at an architecture firm in Oslo. We hired an American architect, Jessica, with impressive credentials. First week, she presented a design to the team. We reviewed it. I said, "The proportions are off. The entrance flow doesn't work. And this window placement violates building codes." She nodded, took notes. Seemed fine. Then our senior architect said, "The concept itself is weak. You haven't considered the site context." She stopped writing. "Weak how?" He said, "It's generic. Could be anywhere. We need something that responds to this specific location." She said, "Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10? He said, "What scale?" "It doesn't work. Redo it." She excused herself. Came back 20 minutes later, eyes red. Our boss asked if she was okay. She said, "I'm fine. Just not used to this feedback style." He said, "What style?" "We told you what's wrong so you can fix it." She said, "Right?" "No, totally. It's fine. The next design was better." We told her what was still wrong. She kept quiet, took notes. The third time, we had fewer critique. Someone said, "This is acceptable now." She said, "Acceptable?" He said, "Yes. It works." She said, "So it's good." He said, "It's functional. That's what we need." She later told the intern she was having a mental health crisis from the constant criticism. The intern, Norwegian, was baffled. "They're just telling you what needs fixing. That's normal." Jessica said in America you say 3 positive things for every negative thing. In Norway we say what needs fixing. If nothing needs fixing, we move on. We don't manufacture compliments to cushion reality. Jessica left after 8 months. Said the work environment was toxic. We still don't see how. Nobody insulted her. Nobody yelled. We just told her what was wrong with her work so she could improve it. Isn't that the point of working? I manage a restaurant in Utrecht. An American couple came for dinner. Everything went normally. They ordered 8 paid. 2 days later, we got a 1-star review online. Worst service ever. Our waiter was extremely rude and dismissive. We felt attacked. I checked the cameras and receipt. They had Mark. Mark is perfectly professional. I watched the footage. They asked what he recommended. He said, "The lamb is good." They asked about the fish. He said, "The fish is fine. The lamb is better." They ordered the fish. When he brought it, they asked how it was. He said, "I already told you the lamb is better." That was it. That was the attack. He gave an honest opinion. They ignored it. He reminded them. Americans call this rude. We call it trying to help customers make good choices. They complained I should train staff to say things like, "Both dishes are wonderful, but the lamb is particularly popular tonight." That's lying. The fish is fine. It's not wonderful. Why would I tell customers it's wonderful when it's fine and the lamb is actually good? I responded to the review. Said we stand by our staff's honest recommendations. They replied that honesty doesn't have to be harsh. Mark wasn't harsh. Mark was Dutch. There's a difference. My cousin works in an American restaurant. She says American servers perform elaborate fake friendliness. "Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'll be taking care of you today. How is everything tasting? Is there anything else I can get for you?" Every table, same script, fake smile. In the Netherlands, you order, we bring food, you eat, you pay, you leave. We don't pretend to be friends. We're not rude. We're efficient. Americans confuse efficiency with rudeness because they need social performance with every transaction. I work in sales for a Finnish tech company. We had a video call with a potential American client. Big contract, very important. Our CEO explained our product. Listed features, capabilities, limitations. Straightforward presentation. The Americans kept waiting for something. Finally, their VP of operations said, "So, what makes your product better than the competition?" Our CEO said, "Our latency is lower and our uptime is higher." They waited. He was done. One of them said, "Anything else?" He said, "That's what matters for your use case." Silence. Their CEO said, "We're looking for a partner who's really passionate about innovation." Our CEO said, "We're passionate about solving technical problems efficiently." More silence. You could feel them deflating. After the call, they emailed. Very polite, but basically said they were going in a different direction. Our CEO was confused. We offered a better product at a better price. What direction? I had to explain that Americans expected him to be enthusiastic. Use words like revolutionary and game-changing. He said, "But it's not revolutionary. It's an incremental improvement with better performance." I said, "You have to say it's revolutionary anyway." He said, "That's lying." I said, "That's American business." He refused. We lost the contract to a competitor with a worse product but a better marketing presentation. The competitor's CEO said their product would transform the industry and disrupt the paradigm. It didn't do either. It just worked slightly worse than ours. But it came with enthusiasm, so Americans bought it. In Finland, we say what we mean. Americans say what sounds good, then figure out what they mean later. It's backwards, but that's how they work. I teach at a gymnasium in Frankfurt. We had American exchange students last year. I teach physics. One student, Tyler, was struggling. After a test, I told him, "This is not acceptable. You need to study more." He said, "I studied for 3 hours." I said, "Then you studied the wrong material or you didn't understand it. We need to identify the problem." He looked crushed. "I worked really hard on this." I said, "Hard work doesn't matter if the result is wrong. A surgeon can't say, 'I worked really hard,' after a failed operation." He had tears in his eyes. I wasn't trying to upset him. I was trying to help him understand that effort without results is meaningless. His host family called the school. Said I was too harsh. Our principal defended me. Told them this is normal German teaching. We identify problems directly so students can fix them. The family said in America, teachers encourage students by praising effort. Our principal said, and this is why German students score higher in mathematics. Tyler eventually improved, but he never looked comfortable in my class. He wanted praise for trying. I gave him accurate assessments of his work. In Germany, that's respect. We don't lie to students about their performance. How else will they learn? His final essay was good. I wrote satisfactory on it. He seemed disappointed. I said, that's good. That means it met requirements. He said, just satisfactory? I said, you want me to lie and say it's excellent when it's satisfactory? He said, never mind. Americans need constant validation that they're exceptional. Germans tell you when you're actually exceptional. The rest of the time, you're satisfactory. And that's fine. Most things are satisfactory. Why is that insulting? The strangest case I ever saw was in Amsterdam. An American woman asked a shop owner for directions. He said, you need to take the number 12 tram from here. It comes every 8 minutes. She said, is that the best way? He said, it's the direct route. You could also take a taxi, but that costs more for the same destination. She said, which would you recommend? He said, I already told you. The tram is direct and cheaper. She said, you're being very short with me. He said, no, I'm being efficient. You asked, I answered. She left looking offended. My theory is this. Americans are taught that being indirect is polite. They wrap every statement in soft language, fake enthusiasm, and manufactured positivity. They call it good manners. To them, saying exactly what you mean sounds harsh because they're used to everything being cushioned. The rest of us are taught that honesty is polite. Saying what you mean shows respect. It means you trust the other person to handle truth. Lying to spare feelings is actually insulting because it implies they're too fragile for reality. Neither is wrong. They're just different. But Americans travel the world expecting their version of polite, then get upset when other cultures have different rules. They think we're rude. We think they're exhausting. And that's just how it is. Want more stories about cultural confusion? Next time, I'll tell you about Americans trying to understand Nordic personal space rules. Let's just say, it doesn't go well.